Shalom Yashrala. This is your brother Dawud from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right. So just adding on to the last article about the airstrikes in Syria that America, is lying about, the figures on, but nevertheless touching on the justification for why they need ISIS, why it's important that America, why the survival of ISIS is important to America. America need ISIS to survive, all right? And these are the reasons why, because it's justifying these types of, strikes on these nations. And it's like you standing behind a damn shield and you throwing rocks at somebody else. Now they can throw rocks back at you, but you in this damn shield, so they can't hit you. So it's unfair. You just pegging them all day and they can't do nothing back, right? Because it's not a official state versus an official state. All right, it's not America, and in this case Israel they're not at war with the state of Syria or the state of Iraq. Okay. Nevertheless, Iran, they're not, at war with these countries, all right? But what they are doing is they're still basically unofficially at war with these people, all right? So what they do is they use their proxies, their mercenaries, right? And they go in and they use them to go to war with them, all right? So nevertheless, this one here, just admitting some of the wickedness of the so-called white man, all right? This is dealing with these Amalekites, all right? Which is one of the chief house of Easu, all right? This is what they doing over there. All right, it says Israel admits 200 plus strikes against Iranian targets in Syria over 18 months. And this is something that Israel really don't do all the time, is admit when they do airstrikes. All right, they do them and they don't claim none of them. All right. So it says the Israeli military has admitted that over the past 18 months it's carried out more than 200 strikes in Syria. Now, you got to understand that Syria is like the size of North Dakota. All right, it's not that big at all. And I believe it's like 35 or some shit like that countries that's actively bombing inside of Syria. So you could imagine 35 different countries inside of America bombing just one little state the size of North Dakota. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. You know what I mean? And Israel over here talking about, yeah, just imagine one country, let alone all these conglomeration, but one country with 200 different strikes in just a little over a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times y'all gonna bomb? When is the job over? That's, and in my eyes, I would be like, yo, that's a whole war right there. Y'all motherfuckers at war. You done had 200 different strikes, nigga. Y'all at war. You know what I mean? But no, this is why it's important for them to, for the survival of ISIS. Because as long as ISIS is over there, you know what I'm saying, or whatever terrorist group they come up with, Al-Nusra or whatever, as long as they over there, this so-called justifies in the face of the world them going over here bombing the fuck out of them. All right. So it says the Israeli military has admitted that over the past 18 months has carried out more than 200 strikes in Syria, which it claimed destroyed hundreds of alleged Iranian targets, local media reports. All right. So again, instead of them trying to face it off with Iran, state to state, war to war, they use their proxies. All right. It says accusing Tehran of constant attempts to gain a foothold in Syria and potentially deploy tens of thousands of soldiers on the ground, the IDF, or the Israeli Defense Force, all right, on Tuesday, said it carried out attacks against at least 202 Iranian targets on the border and soil. Overall, 792 bombs and missiles were launched at Syria since 2017, the IDF said on Tuesday during special briefing with military correspondents. So they just like openly coming out like, yeah, we've been bombing the fuck out of them, you know what I'm saying? And because of the fact of they got Iranian, military support, military training, or so-called places where they can fund money to what they call the so-called terrorist group Hamas, right? Because, they always need a damn boogeyman, right? You know what I mean? And these are the people that they claim as their so-called threats. So they're like, nah, since y'all keep building up, we don't want y'all to fund these people. We're going to go ahead and strike and eliminate that capability of you giving them power. Right, so flip this around, vice versa. This would be like these Arab countries coming together wanting to bomb America and take America out because they're the ones arming and giving money and power over to Israel, which Israel is going over in the Middle East, dominating them. All right, any sane fucking American would be like, hold up, how the fuck You gonna try to bomb us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it do make sense. You the one supporting them, so we got to cut the head off the snake. You know what I'm saying? And that's what so-called Israel is claiming that they doing. But in all actuality, these are the people with Mossad, you know what I'm saying, which is like the CIA over in Israel. You know what I'm saying? This is why they fund them over there. All right. They fund these terrorists over there so they can go over here and do this type of shit to wage war or weaken these people up before they go with a full out military invasion. All right. It says, summarizing the achievements over the past year, the chief staff, Gadi Esiknak, issued a highly confident report to the political echelons about the competence of preparedness of the IDF. The military stressed that Iran is still determined to smuggle in weapons and establish air bases as well as intelligence capabilities in Syria. What's wrong with that? They fucking allies, all right? This is the same shit, you know what I'm saying, that America's doing with NATO. America is squadding up with their gang, right? They squadding up with their gang and getting these allies around the place and setting up military bases so they can have the outreach, or they have allies in wartime, you know what I'm saying? They can't click up, you know what I'm saying? And that's what Israel is blaming Iran of doing, or Syria and Iran doing, all right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all got footholds in Syria. We got to blow y'all shit up before y'all get too big, because Syria border, Syria is in between both these places, you know what I'm saying? So, like, basically, like, oh, nah, nigga, if y'all be fucking with Syria like that, y'all too close up on us. Israel ain't gonna like that, all right? But nevertheless, really, is Israel trying to steal and claim more land further out all the way that way. It says the IDF has also noted that Iran's proxy Hezbollah, all right, Hezbollah and also Hamas and stuff like that, but the IDF has noted that Iran's proxy, now what's crazy is that these niggas is coming out talking about, oh, these niggas is using proxies. Well, what about you niggas? You niggas is using proxies too. It's called ISIS, Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda. These are your proxies. And then with Israel is America's proxy. They just actually go out here in the open and carry out these strikes, all right, on Iranian targets. All right, because that's where America want to get to right now. But they just like, nah, well, fuck it, we'll use Israel. And if they bite back at Israel, then we'll step in then, all right? It says, the IDF also noted that Iran's proxy Hezbollah remains a threat, but currently has no capabilities to launch a precision strike against Israel. The army said that Iraq is more important to Iran than Lebanon, where Israel's arch enemy is being accused of arming Shia militants. The IDF also said it's aware of the fact that missiles are being transferred from Iran to Iraq from there to Syria. All right, and so this is the propaganda that they using. They saying, look, man, we know, you know what I'm saying, that basically Iran is the nigga who got the shit, right? He the only nigga that's strong enough to get to work, right? And we know that these niggas is using Syria, all right, to bring the shit in through Syria and also through Iraq. And that shit is, y'all got dope all on our streets. So we trying to clean up our streets and cut the dope up out of our neighborhood. So what we got to do? Cut the head off the snake. We know these Iranian niggas got their little plug spots over in these niggas spot in Syria. So we got to cut them niggas off over there. All right. So this is the propaganda that they're using. But in all reality, what's going on is these Iranians is being surrounded, right? And they don't like this shit, right? But I mean, they ain't really doing nothing about it, but Israel and them is still surrounding them. That's what they're doing. They're just getting closer and closer and closer and weakening them up and preparing them for an invasion. All right. They're preparing them for basically slaughter, waging war against them. All right. It says Israel rarely acknowledges carrying out raids in Syria, but Damascus repeatedly accused the Jewish state of violating its sovereignty and amid the terrorists, well, briefly speaking on that, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, hey, Israel don't necessarily claim a lot of the strikes. They'll just strike, and that'll just be it. These niggas get down damn near, if not more than America do. I don't know which one go harder, but they both go hard out there in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? But, Israel don't be claiming shit. They just like, well, we don't know what the fuck happened. You know what I'm saying? And they wonder why they so-called Iron Dome system be going off all the goddamn time. But a lot of that shit be staged just to so-called justify an attack. Like, they'll have a nigga, whatever, with they Mossad, right? They'll shoot a rocket up in the air. The Patriot system go off. Then they be like, all right, we're going to mount up and just go launch because it came from this direction. And they already got a pre-planned military target in their eye. And that's exactly what we're talking about here in this article. All right. It says on Tuesday, Syrian air defense systems responded to an attack target located in the Hama and Latakia province. The raid, which Sana news agency pinned on Israel, left 1 dead and at least 4 others wounded. And what's crazy to me, I don't understand why these niggas are spending so much money on missiles to kill like 3 or 4 niggas. Y'all could have just shot a nigga for that. Bullets is cheaper than bombs. But nevertheless, it's more about the infrastructure and bombing the fuck out of these people, putting them in a terrorized state of mind. All right, and showing them, and they pushing the boundaries. If you let me push you like this, you don't push me back. How much harder can I push you? You see what I'm saying? And they wish that they would push them back so America could step up and they can actually go hot with the shit. That's what they want. All right. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Syria is constantly having to guard themselves from attacks because so-called, like I said, Israel, so-called through Mossad will launch a so-called attack against Israel. Then they'll quickly just shoot it down. And then a couple hours later, they'll be mounted up and they wind up just going to go bomb in locations in Syria where there's known Iranian military bases to weaken Iran down. Salaki, got some heat and shit popping. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, this is how it is, man. You know what I'm saying? These people getting bombed over some bullshit ass lies. This is the way this is why we call the white man the damn devil, his deceptive ass lies and ways. All right, people dying behind this stuff, But this is the justification of why they need these so-called terrorist groups to keep propagating this mass genocide on the planet Earth. All right. It says previously Tel Aviv was accused of striking targets in parts of Syria, including the outskirts of Damascus on the border of the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights. And when you go into all that, like I said, the Israeli-controlled, nigga, this shit is in Syria. All right. And this is what they doing. They just slowly but surely stealing more and more land. All right. And whenever they go over there to try to defend themselves, oh, there's a problem. Oh, y'all over here trying to strike and kill the Jews who've been persecuted and put in ovens. They always using this sad sob story, to go into the minds of the people. And these Americans buy the same story. It's the same way they buy the same story of 9/11, going into the terrorists, which justifies all of this shit, which justifies them going over the whole fucking planet Earth, bombing the shit out of these people, taking their shit, changing all the populations up, all right, rounding people up, and testing out new military equipment, which is going to further lead into World War III, all right, because they didn't stole all the other countries. Now they down to Syria, which Syria about done. We about to find out what's going to happen with that, with this last false flag that they planning right in the midst of all of this. This is the build up to that, and why it's so important. This is possibly the last attack, the last stronghold in Syria. Syria might be about to fall completely right now, all right? And then all eyes on Iran, which Iran is already being stirred up in the news right now, which is giving more signs to the new target is Iran. They about to start focusing solely on Iran now, all right? And then Russia is starting to slowly creep into the picture, which is the final phase, all right? So when they start, as we walk down this here path, we see, man, what this whole thing is showing us, man. So, you know what I'm saying? This is something these aren't just articles about whatever's in the news. It's just propaganda. Now, all of these select stories are the build up and the road to World War III and all the things that's important to understand about these things and the significance of what's so bad, what's so special about ISIS. Why is that even a part of the truth? Why do we even need to be talking about ISIS? Well, ISIS ain't important, but it's the fact of the matter that this is a proxy that America is using to so-called go over here and bomb these motherfuckers, showing us that this is the goddamn wicked. But not only that, which we're about to go into, this false flag attack that's going on, which is going to lead into the next phase of what's going on, which is going to bring us closer into World War III. All right, showing us the times and the signs and the times that we living in right now to further prepare ourselves for what's next to come. All right, because we've been reading about these prophecies over and over and over again, but now they're starting to speak. All right, though it tarry, wait for it, it shall surely speak. You know what I'm saying? So that's the time that we in right now, where these prophecies is crying out, they screaming out, and these birth pains is coming quicker and quicker, So we're gonna go ahead and close out with that, and like I said, we're gonna touch on the false flag that's building up in the news. All right. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and close out, by saying Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Ruchah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push in this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Stay strong. Shalom.